Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Everyone ready for round 2? I was just working this afternoon on a number of things. I shared an update in the Discord. About one of the things that I was working on. And that was the board packing. So for those that haven't seen it, basically I wanted to implement a feature where the boards that are generated, either because you're being given card rewards or because of an alchemy result, I wanted to make them look more organic, and previously they were not like maximizing the space, so it looked very weird to have lots of empty cells on the board. But now what I've got this going on where it will try to pack the cards in as tightly into the board as possible, and so it looks more organically like a board that you would set up yourself, right? It's got like, you know, it's got few empty spaces. The cards, even oddly shaped ones, are like nestled in with other cards and so on and so forth. So I think that works really well. And I've also been working on improving the juice of the alchemy even further. I've added a bunch of new sound effects, which you can't hear right now because I have the sounds turned off. But yeah, I think that's basically the main stuff that I did. I finished my whole list of sound effects that I had written down here. I still have a couple of things that I want to do with the alchemy juice. But for this stream, I think there's a couple of issues that have come up just this afternoon that I want to fix. This one, for instance, residue, there's an issue with the residue effect, which I'll explain in a second. And then also restructuring the alchemy scene to prevent the pot from shifting around. So that's going to require a reorganization of this scene tree here, because basically what's happening is as this board changes size, the pot is being displaced, and that just kind of looks weird to me. So we're gonna figure that out. But yeah, anyway, before we get into it, let's say hello to everyone. Also, before I get into it, all the ways that you can support me in the game are linked in the description below. So check those out. There's a playtest coming out in like 5 days. So anyway, yeah, I'll just mention that, but we're not going to do the typical ads this time around. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome, welcome. Bomb That Implodes, welcome back. Jack, good to see you again. Attendance check. Are you going to review the hit game High Guard? Yeah, High Guard has not seemed to be received well so far. Stream round 2 is what I needed. Hello, Ataxic, welcome back. What if y'all been programming today? Updated 4.6? Yeah, I just updated to 4.6 as well. I think today I recorded a quick and dirty trailer for our Steam page. Very nice. Very nice. Also, yeah, for anyone that's upgrading Godot, I shared this in the Discord as well, but you can go to Project Tools, Upgrade Project Files, and what that will do is that will essentially resave all the resources in your game. And resaving will update the data that's like, for example, in the scene files with all the new stuff that Godot by default will put in the scene files. So for instance, Godot 4.6 introduces unique node identifiers, and those node identifiers are not going to be in your scene files until you resave them. So you could do that all at once by doing upgrade project files, and it basically just re-imports and resaves everything so that all of the data is consistent. So definitely recommend doing that when you upgrade Godot. Hello, Jahar, welcome. Thinking of programming instead of doing? Nice. Diginanigans, hello again. Good afternoon, Chris. Hello, Ninja Link, welcome back. Hey, do you remember me? Kusei, yes, I do. Welcome back, good to see you again. I tried to program on an abstract function generator and it turned out to be 10 times more complicated than I expected. Interesting. Hello, Mabs Games, welcome. Emerson, welcome back. What do you think of the new Godot features? There's not a whole lot in here that is super relevant to me. I don't know if these are new, but I added icons to the docks here. So that's kind of nice. Also, I like that all of these are movable now, so I could put like, oh, I guess it's not fully. I guess I can't put this anywhere. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I thought maybe I'd be able to put like audio over here or something, but that would be super nice because I would put the audio like up here or something so it's not cluttering this bottom bar. Interesting. Anyway, I guess they'll probably introduce that in the future, but yeah, being able to reorder these positions, I guess, is pretty cool. The Godot minimal theme being the default theme, that's pretty cool as well. I don't need to maintain like or keep that theme file updated. I was already using that theme. I also changed, you know, the Direct 3D being the rendering driver for Windows by default. So I just went ahead and set that, or not driver, rendering device here. So I set that to D3D 12 for Windows. What else? Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot that was useful for me, but I just kind of like updated everything with the new standards for Godot, the new defaults, I should say, and then made some tweaks to the theme, and that's basically it. So, how do you like the 4.6? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's good. The upgrade went fine. I didn't notice any bugs or anything breaking in my game, so what more could you ask for, you know? What more could you ask for? All right, anyway, which one do we want to do first? I really want to figure out why this residue burn away turns card totally black. I think I broke this, but maybe I didn't. Now that I think about it, maybe I didn't. Maybe it's the rendering. But let's just see. Let's just see. So what I mean by this issue is that this burn away shader. So if I go here and I do this, when the alchemical residue burns away, the card turns completely black. And that shouldn't be happening. So I don't know why that's happening. Let's take a look at the burn away shader. Where is that? Alchemy container. Burn tasks. Disable mouse area. Card node position equals vector 2.0. Particles position. Process material. Particle process material. Oh, that's fine. Where is this actually doing the burn? Effect noise texture. Oh, I know why it's happening. So this is a canvas. Why do I have two canvas groups? Oh, I do need that. So we'll rename that. I think what's happening is my back buffer on the card is still enabled. So this back buffer copy here. And because this card is being placed underneath a canvas group, I think it's just turning black because back buffer copy does not work inside of canvas groups. Do I need it to be a canvas group? I think I do. So disable back buffer. This is private. So I think what I can do actually is I can fix this in a bit of a different way. Board.dimmer component. Where is disable? On card transferred. Board.card dimmer component. Oh no, that should work. Card dimmer component. Card dimmer component. Disable. Am I using? Wait a minute. What? dim in. Oh, I see. So I need this. So enable back buffer. Wait a minute. I need to disable this back buffer on the card again, I think. Dim in, fade shader progress to 0.5, keep that out, and dim out. Oh yeah. No, that's right. So dim out is what disables the back buffer here. So I just basically need that back buffer to be disabled. How am I going to do this? I mean, I know what I need to do. Backboard card dimmer component dot disabled. I need to re-dim in all of the cards. So I should probably do this. Why is this setting it? Hold on a second. I gotta look at this. Why is this being set as visible or not visible? Does it matter? I don't think the visibility of this matters. Hold on a second. Board card dimmer component. Yeah, I don't think that needs to be a node 2D anymore. So card dimmer component, let's change this to node. That will get rid of visible, visible, visible. That's completely useless. So that was a holdover from when I was doing some different stuff with it. We're going to change this to a regular node, and then we can bring this up here. Let me make sure I just didn't break that much for now. But I think what I want to do is I should on disable call dim card selection out, but I don't think that's going to fix my issue. Let me just see if this works though. Okay. Yeah, so this doesn't necessarily help. I basically need to disable the back buffer immediately. So I could do something like this. I could do public void clear dim. And I could say shader rect dot material is equal to null. Default shader material set shader parameter. I want to set that to 0, I think. Okay. Progress 0f. And then we're going to want to do shader tween dot kill. Let's kill it first. Set the material to null. Set the default to 0 again. And then disable back buffer. And then in here, we have dim card selection out. Let's just do private void clear card dim. Card. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I think that will work. Let's see what happens. Might want to download 4.6. Yeah, there's no problems with it. I don't have any anyway. Hello, Angie Kress. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Welcome back. Am I the only one here still use Mercurial VCS? Probably. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome. Okay, that works now. So now I get a proper fade away animation. Or burn away animation, I guess I should say. Just make sure this works as expected. Oh. Yeah, that works. Okay. Fixed that. Okay. Is that shader tween only being used for the dim? Let me just make sure that's the case. Oh, it's being used for fade out as well. You know what I'll do here, actually? If instant, disable back buffer. I guess I shouldn't have removed that method. Okay. We do want to do shader tween.kill regardless. So we'll kill the shader tween. If it's instant, we'll just do those two things in return, and then I can get rid of this. All right, let's try that. Instead, clear card dim, dim out, true. All right, that might be a little bit better. I think it's functionally the same, but makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. Cool. Was watching your old VODs from Gunforge, curious if you ever implemented AI optimization in your enemy state machines, like only updating process every 3 frames or similar checks. No, I never did that. It's just all of the enemies on screen, they update every frame, which, you know, could have been optimized, but I didn't have like enough enemies ever at once for that to be a concern, so I just did it the straightforward, naive way and didn't ever run into any situations where it needed to be optimized. And I got several comments from people that the game runs very well on Steam Deck, which is obviously like lower end. So yeah, I didn't really have any need to do any optimization there. Cool. All right, so that one's fixed. I'm glad that was relatively easy to do. All right, restructure alchemy scene to prevent pot from shifting positions when board size changes. That one, so I don't know if you've noticed what I'm talking about here, but if I go into this here, and I do this, and I do... So watch the pot. The pot will change positions. See how it goes down a little bit? So I don't want that to happen. But the problem is that this board can be a dynamic size. So I have to assume that this board could basically be any size. And so I need to make sure to position the pot in a good way. Now, what I could do is the other thing that I like about this is that this alchemy pot is kind of like the spoon is kind of overlaying the board a little bit here, which I kind of like. Makes it feel, again, more organic. So I want to preserve that if possible. One solution is just to put the pot down here and then have this up here and be whatever size I want it to be, but I like these things being grouped together more closely. So I just have to figure out a way to make this work. That's going to require restructuring the scene a little bit. I think what I can do is... The other problem is I want it to remain centered, so that's... Maybe I'm asking for things that are inherently contradictory. This sun is in my face, hold on. Is that better? No. Now I'm dark, but that's all right. I like the state machine, although I rewrote it in GDScript and think it's working as intended. Nice, yeah. Someone in chat mentioned he was using it, so I want to take a look at your implementation of it. I like it. Turn the sun off, yeah. Yeah, I like the state machine. I like using the functions as the states themselves. I think that keeps everything nice and clean and readable, and you don't need to use another like enum or anything. So I like it. I definitely like it. Let's see. Okay. So how am I going to keep this centered? I mean, it obviously has room to grow up here. I wonder if it would be enough to just allow it to grow up and horizontally, but keep the bottom fixed here. That might be enough, but I'm not sure. All right, let's take a look at this. I don't even know what's going on here, to be honest. So this whole thing gets centered. I think... What can I do here? I might be able to do something with a margin container. Would I be able to do something with a margin container? So this is like the default size. This is the way I want that to work. But the board just needs to grow either up, so remain anchored to the bottom here, or side to side, which is also fine. So I've basically got these two elements nestled under this VBox container here, this one here. Yeah, I might just need to change this. Hello, Bubblegum Lord. Okay, give me 1 second. I know I just started the stream, but I gotta go do something real quick, so I'll be right back in 2 minutes, and then we'll figure out what we're doing with this. All right, sorry about that. Your Godot tabs have icons now. Did you do something to make them show up? Mine don't have them. Yeah, if you go to Editor, Editor Settings, Theme, where is it? I think it's in here. Oh no, Interface Editor. You can set the dock tab style and bottom dock tab style to text and icon, or icon only if you want. Am I a pro enough to do icon only? But yeah, I think it looks nice with the text and the icon, so I just changed that up. That's how I did it. I don't know if that's a new feature. I'm assuming it is a new feature. Yeah. Yeah, it is cool. All right, so I think I'm going to need to do something fancy with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this type to a control. So that's going to be a control with a specific size. So it's no longer a VBox container. Now this clickable control is going to remain there. That shouldn't move at all. And then with this board container here, I want it to grow up. So this VBox container, this is going to expand downward, but I want it to expand upward. I don't know if the alignment changes that. Let's see. Yeah, so that's expanding downward. I think I might need to wrap this in another control here. So if I do control here, I'm going to need to probably change some mouse stuff here. That's ignore. Okay, we'll change this one to ignore as well. We'll just make this the same size as the VBox container. 154. So we'll do layout, transform. I always get lost in these. 154. Okay. But I think the anchor, if I'm not mistaken, needs to be bottom wide. I think that's what it needs to do. Then we put the VBox container under that. This actually doesn't need to be a VBox container anymore, I don't think. Yeah, so we can actually move these out to under that control and remove that. Okay, and then if I change this board container size, now I think it's gonna grow upward. No. How do I make this grow upward? Oh, maybe this board container. No, I can't change that. Oh, wait. Container sizing. Shrink. Huh? There we go. So I need to change this anchor to bottom. There we go. That's the one I wanted. Although, now I'm thinking that's not going to work. Layout mode anchors, anchors preset center bottom. Okay. Inherited. Layout mode position. Can I change this here? Layout mode. Oh no, because it's a child of a container. Right. So I think I could just set this one to anchors. Anchors preset, center bottom. Maybe that will work. So now if I change the size of this board container, it should grow up. I gotta reset the size here. Oh, the other problem is that this size is not gonna be reset. So wait a minute, I guess I should... Okay. Change this type. I should make this some kind of container, I guess. This one... Maybe I don't want this... Okay, so the layout mode went away there. So now here... Am I not doing this right? Board container. Oh, no, that's right. Okay. So now I have the benefit of this will now stay in the center. And that will grow because it's this control node as it expands because it has children, which change its size. Since the anchor is to the bottom, it will grow upward. Okay, I think that's going to work, but we're going to have to test that out. I got to go. Already past midnight for me. Good night. All right, good night to you, and thanks for joining. Hope to see you in the next one. I'm using a custom tile editor tab. I guess I have to create a new an icon now. Oh, yeah. Push the board. Well, yeah, there was a way I could do it programmatically and just alter the positions, but I wanted to do it with like the natural layout side. Oh, that didn't work. Is this just not going to work now? What the heck, man? I'm gonna have to look at my remote scene tree here. Main run manager. Alchemy drawer, margin container. Why is that not working? I don't understand that. Okay, well, this is just nutty. All right, we'll change this type to a margin container, I guess. I don't think that's going to work either. Change this type back to a control. Layout. Container sizing. Shrink center. Shrink begin. Okay, this clickable control now. Shrink end. All right. Now, what is the size of this thing? 100, 134. Now, the problem is if this control grows, I think that's not going to work. I need to do like another control in here, I think. Let's see, board container. Now, what in the heck? It's like I need both. I need just a normal control and then a margin container, which is 154. Then I need to put the pass-through control in here. This margin container will have the bottom wide anchor. And then if this grows, is that going to work? Okay. All right. That's a little bit nutty, but that's all right. I would do this, mouse, ignore. All right, let's try it out. Have you tried Godot 4.6? Will you switch to it when you're done with Alka Mortis? I'm on 4.6 right now. It's working just fine. No complaints here. So let's see if this works. So if I do this. Okay. So that board has grown upwards. And if I do this, actually, let's try making it so that it shrinks. Let's see what that does. Okay, there we go. So now this board here is relatively stable, meaning that its position changes are not changing the position of the pot, which makes it just look a little bit nicer. The pot looks a little bit more grounded now that it's not moving around. Now there's this situation here, because that's the minimum size. So maybe I should do this in accordance with the minimum size of the board so that it looks normal. So this is going to be minus 18, minus 18. Ah. It's going to be 36. This is 36 here. Shrink that down, and now this margin container is going to need to go there. Is that right? I think I actually need to shrink this down generally. So I subtracted 18 from the size, so let's do 18 there. Reset that. Okay, is that right now? So it's going to look broken in the editor because this board size, or this board is by default 3x3. But the important thing is that the board container is the correct size. That's the correct size. So let's see what happens here. So that still looks normal. Basically what I'm just trying though is when the board becomes 2x2. You know what I could do? There's a different fix for that. I'm going to undo all that stuff. Okay, I think we're back to normal. So we'll just leave it like this. What I'll do instead is I'll do a different fix. When we call resize board and place cards, I'm going to make the board minimum size 3x3. So I'm not going to make the alchemy board shrink below its normal size, but it can grow. It just won't be able to shrink. Now that may change in the future if I ever have a reagent that needs to change the board size. That could potentially be a problem, but we don't have that problem yet, so we're not going to worry about it yet. So if I do this, now the board should not be changing size, except when it becomes larger. So if I do this, the board becomes larger. I can go ahead and slap whatever I want onto the board. And then it's going to shrink down to... oh, wait, I was going to say that didn't work. No, it did work. It was just playing the legendary animation. Why did that do that in a weird order? I don't understand that. That's kind of concerning. I was not expecting that. Oh, I guess that makes sense. So what's happening is the output cards are here. They're coming in a specific order into this resize board and place cards, but then it's being reordered. But that reordering, that does not affect the cards here. So what I might do is I might just do this. Public static list base card order cards for placement. And we can just do this. Then in here, what I can do is I can do ordered cards. So I'm going to be doing an ordering twice, which is okay. It's not that big of a deal. But what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to say var ordered cards is equal to cardboard utils order cards for placement. We'll put the ordered cards there. We can use the ordered cards. This becomes ordered cards dot count ordered cards dot length dot count ordered cards. Okay, so basically I'll just reorder the cards that are the output cards in the same order that this resize board and place cards is going to do. And so it always places the largest cards first. That's just the way that the algorithm works. So what happened is I had the skeleton mage out on a later priority. And so because the arrays for managing the animations and the ordering were different, it kind of created a weird animation, weird output. So what I'll do now is I'll just see if that works. So what we're going to see now is if I put the skeleton mage out here with 2 1x1s, the skeleton mage is going to come first in the order. Yeah. So I just unify those arrays, make sure that they're the same, and that should fix any weirdness with respect to cards being placed like in the middle of the board first rather than left to right. So that should help. Anyway. That works for me. this alchemy container is a margin container now. I don't think it really matters, but I'll just put margin container in there so that the root type matches exactly. Game dev UI makes me appreciate HTML CSS in my day job. Yeah, for sure. UI is fun. Yeah, usually you can get Godot to do whatever you want with the UI as long as you do the proper level of nesting. I think a lot of people, especially people who are new to Godot, they get concerned when they see something like a UI which has like dozens of control nodes in it. But in my experience, that's really the only way to get the layout that you need, is you need to like keep breaking it up into smaller chunks with the control nodes. And sometimes you need to do weird things to get elements to grow or shrink in the way that you need it. And so yeah, I generally think that you just need to use as many control nodes as possible, or as necessary rather, to get the result that you're after. Oh, the one thing that I do like in Godot 4.6 is that the margin containers now show the margins on them. That's super handy. That was a feature that was desperately needed. But I think that that's done. Might need a UI Godot tutorial for nothing. Yeah, it's looking good. Feel like I'm the only one here who uses Turbo Warp. Probably, yeah. Hello, Clippy. Welcome. Godot 4.6, yes indeed. New tab icon done in place. It was easier than I thought. Awesome. What have I tested so far? I mean, I mostly just like the editor features. There's nothing actually in 4.6 from like a functionality standpoint that I need. Maybe the unique scene IDs are useful specifically for like my enchant container, because I actually have these tentacles are separate scenes, but then I've edited 2 of them to have different sprites. So that's going to be very useful, because I would go in, like when I was working on this scene, I would go in and I would change something about the tentacle, like I would restructure something, and that would just break everything because the node paths were lost. So now that there's unique node IDs, I think what I should be able to do is something like this, where I just like move the tentacle out, and I shouldn't really see any difference because it knows now that these edited scenes, those are the same node. That tentacle node is the same node. So that's really the only thing I could think of in 4.6 that would actually be useful for me from like a actual development perspective. Not just like an editor tool, I guess, but pivot offset ratio is pretty neat. I use that a lot. Yeah, I actually, now that I think about it, I should probably, I have this center pivot offset button that I wrote as a plugin, but I actually probably don't need that anymore. Yeah, I can just turn off center pivot offset. I don't need that anymore, because now we have the ratio. Where is that? Yeah. So I don't need that anymore, so I can probably delete that. Delete. Goodbye. Cool. Oh, my palette loader text came back. That's cool. Anyway. I actually don't need the palette loader anymore either. Let's just turn that off. Anyway. I probably shouldn't have done all these things. Oh gosh. I guess that's okay. Anyway, let's do this as a separate commit. Let's do that. Oh, let's do this as a separate commit. Fix board position in place for alchemy. Okay. Then we're going to do this. And then in here, remove unused plugins. Okay. Update just dropped in time for the Global Game Jam. Recently, I have done inverse kinematics. 4.6 has added new IK nodes. I haven't tested them yet. Still new to this. Yeah, it looks like the 3D stuff is really useful. There's a lot of 3D stuff in 4.6, but I am not a Godot 3D developer, so they are slowly depreciating your custom add-ons. Hey, I'm glad. We're nuking plugins, yeah. Slowly but surely. All right. Well, what are we going to do now? Pot animation for reset. Do I still want to do that? Let me see. So the reset animation being like when the board size resets. So this board size will change. I mean, it doesn't change in this case, but so we've got those. And then it resets like that. That's supposed to be a reset of the size. But now that this pot isn't moving anymore, I don't know if I need it to be, I don't know if I need it to have a reset animation. It would be kind of cool if I did like, if I went like way overkill on the reset animation and I like had the liquid drain out and then like a hand comes and pours new liquid in. That would be unhinged, but that would look really cool, I think. Okay, so I don't think we need a reset animation for now, but I will add that as an idea, as something that I might want to do. Add alchemy drain and refill animation after it resets. That would be unhinged, but I think it would be pretty cool. I don't think it looks bad currently. No, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Okay, so I do need to add like impact particles for legendaries. The thing that's kind of tricky about this is that I have cards that are irregular sizes. So when I have a legendary output, I added a bunch of juice for the legendary outputs. I'll just make this a 100% chance. But there's still a lack of like an impact particle when the legendary lands. The problem though is that I have cards that are like weird shapes, right? So if I go to game debug, let's do tapeworm here. You know what I might actually do too, now that I'm thinking about it? I'll just write this down. I was thinking I could use my new board packing algorithm to place my debug cards, because one issue I have is that it doesn't pack these very well, and so if I have too many cards in here, it will just fail to add some. But I'm not going to do that right now because it's not necessary. It's just a debug tool, but it would be nice. So I've got a tapeworm card here, which is like this big L. If I want to do an impact particle, I'm going to have to like target the cells that it occupies very specifically. And I think, I mean, one way to do that is to just spawn a particle system for each tile and just play them all at the same time. That would work. Would that be a problem? I don't think that would be a problem either, because like, so the most particle systems I would spawn at once would be for a 3x3 card, so it would be 9. I could probably do that actually. Maybe that's the way I should do it. Because then I don't need to worry about like trying to modify the particle process material or whatever to be exactly like bounding the card region. Hello, JRN Games. Welcome. Hello, is this game almost done? Well, almost is relative. Is it almost done compared to where it was 10 months ago? Yes. But it's probably, I mean, I want to release it within the next 6 months. So, you know, it's over halfway finished, I would say. Give me 1 second here. All right, sorry, the cat was getting into something. Had to stop him from doing that. Seeing 500 plus lines of code makes me want to buy a vertical screen because I'm also a victim of this. Yeah. Yeah, I've said this before, but I usually, like, this is normally the size that I work at here, but it's hard for people to see on stream, so I blow it up for the stream. So I have plenty of space. It's just not for streaming. I randomly came across your Gunforge video. How did the launch go? The game looks incredible, by the way. Thank you. I would say the Gunforge launch was fine. Like it was a success, especially considering that I've never sold that many copies of a game before. I think Gunforge is around 2,500 copies sold or something like that. So it's certainly not like. I would say it's a success for what the game is, and also the fact that I've never come close to selling that many copies of a game before. So now the question is, can I multiply that number by 10 or 20 with Alchemortis? That would be ideal. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back to get a normal job. So we'll see. But I'm hoping that that doesn't happen. I'm hoping that Alchemortis will be a good success and then I can work on the next game. But we will see. So yeah, let's do that particle on each tile. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know where to put the particles. I don't know what to do with the particles. Hey, this is incredible saying I struggle to align labels. Yeah. Yeah, you know, you got to learn everything, including the Godot UI system, which can be a little bit obtuse sometimes. All right, well, let's do this. Let's create a new scene. We'll do a GPU particles 2D. We're going to do legendary impact particles. Probably do something really quick like 0.4. We can do scenes effect, save that in there. Turn off interpolation. Drawing. It's fine. New particle process material. We need the texture as well. There we go. And then we need the canvas item material particles. And then before I forget, the first thing that I'm going to do is set the animation offset here to 1 max. So that way it will choose a different frame of that particle sheet every time. Okay, so we want this to be one shot with a 0.9 explosiveness. And then what we're going to do is, I'm going to put a reference rect in here. And I'm going to use 18 by 18. So this is the size of a tile. And that's just going to be so that I can visualize the particle system with respect to a single tile. All right, let's do amount 20. Okay. Spawn, position, mission shape, sphere, mission sphere radius, 9. No, we probably want to bring it in a little bit. No, we could probably do 9 actually. Okay. Angle, velocity, initial velocity, 50, 100. Direction. Guess it doesn't really matter. Okay. Damping as friction. Okay, that should work. What else? Accelerations turn the gravity down. Angular velocity down. Directional velocity, orbit velocity, radial velocity. I don't think I need any of these things. I do need to change the color initial ramp. Did they fix this yet? No. I don't know why this color being applied to the particles doesn't work. I just don't understand that. I can't use this property anymore. I have to use this initial ramp every time. And I have no idea why. So if anyone knows why that's the case, so if I put the color ramp like that, look, that works, right? But if I do, let me copy this. If I change the color here, it's not that color. So I don't know what's going on with that. But this has been a problem for several Godot versions now. And I feel like there's just something I'm not understanding about that color property. But I guess I'll just use a ramp. Hope so. This game looks super unique. Thank you, yeah. You might get into one of those indie companies with your portfolio as well. Maybe, I mean, if the Alchemortis is successful, I don't know why I would go work for someone else, you know? Why are you so underrated? People really missing out? All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's fine. I'm happy with what I've got going on here. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hello, Kazori. Welcome back. Okay. Now we change the scale. Min, max. We could do a smaller one. Oh, we want to change the lifetime randomness as well. Okay. And then this scale curve. New curve texture. Oops. Bring this one down, bring that up. Okay, now what I might do is I might make this actually much more speedy. Yeah. Okay. Well, we will see how that goes. We will see how that goes. So there's that legendary impact particles. So now I need to spawn this for every cell in the card when it lands on a board. Where do I want to do that? Do I want to do that on the card scene itself? Yeah, I could probably do that. So we've got a background effects node. Access that as unique name. What I'll do in here is I'll do private static read-only packed scene, legendary particles. Legendary particle scene. Legendary impact particles. Load this with a UID. Can put this under here. So we're making it static so that it doesn't load multiple times whenever a card is instantiated. Godot does cache things under the hood, but I figure if I could just store it instead of calling gd.load every time. That would be ideal. So now in here, what I should be able to do is I should be able to do something like play legendary impact particles. Public void play legendary impact particles. Something like that. Var particles is equal to legendary particles scene instantiate GPU particles 2D. We're going to want to set emitting to true. So now we need to, for each cell in the card, let's do this. Oh, I already have that marked as unique. So I need to do card background effects. I guess I'd just call it background effects. Background effects dot add child particles. Oh, I need to do this. For each var cell in base card dot. I always forget what relative and absolute is. Relative occupied cells. Let me look at rat. Where's my rat? Rat. Excluded cell 0, 0. So what is my relative occupied cells? Relative occupied cells. Oh, absolute occupied cells. So my root cell should be 1, 0. I guess we'll just have to try it. I don't know. Let's do absolute occupied cells. Legendary particles instantiate. Background effects add child particles. Particles dot position. Cell X. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then we'll do particles dot emitting is equal to true. Var tween is equal to create tween. Tween dot tween callback, or tween action, I guess. Particles dot queue free. We're going to make sure that we're freeing these. And I'll do tween dot tween interval 1 second. So we're basically just going to free all the particles after a timer. I could have set a timer, but I like to use tweens better for these kinds of things, a lot of cases. Okay, I guess if I go to my alchemy container now, play legendary impact particles. Let's see what happens. I see you're coding in C#. Is there a reason to choosing this over GDScript? Just personal preference. No, that's it. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. It's very generous as always. I very much appreciate that. And we have the message yummers here. Thank you. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Look at all these yummers. Yo, by the way, I'm probably wrong, but about the color, it multiplies instead of overrides. Well, if it's multiplying, that's fine because the color of the texture is white, which is 1 across all channels, right? It's got a value of 1 for RGB. So if you take, so white should basically mean whatever color I choose is the color that's output, because if you multiply each of the channels of the color that I'm selecting by 1, the output is the color that I'm selecting. So if it's being multiplied, it's wrong. Because the multiplication should produce, that's why I'm using white particles, is because so when I multiply it by a color, it just results in the output color, right? I'm seeing one big script at the top of the card. I usually have all the nodes have their own specific scripts that deal with the stuff they do. I do have some of that, but like this is a separate scene, and this is a separate scene, and this is a separate scene. But like all of these things are basically just things that get toggled. So they don't really have their own functionality. There's this issue open, 825. Let me see if I can look at that. $825. Oh, I see, yeah. So this is the issue. Yeah, I guess they're aware of the problem. It's just, I don't know why that isn't a more pressing issue, I suppose, but let's see. Anyway, let's see if this works. Okay, so those particles are way off. So I just got to position these correctly. Do I have to do minus here? Yeah, that's an old one. It is an old one for sure. Okay, are we going to get these legendary particles to work? Let's find out. That's not even close to working. I mean, it's playing the particles, it's just they're not positioned correctly. Do I even need this offset? Maybe I don't even need this offset. I don't know. They have changed the positions, anchors, options in the last version. Yeah, I noticed that they improved the UI positioning or anchoring stuff a little bit. That's not even close to correct. Okay, maybe I need to use relative occupied cells instead. Although that shouldn't make a difference in the case of... It shouldn't make a difference in the case of the tapeworm. It's spawning over to the left too much. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'm just going to turn off. I'm going to make it set to not one shot. So I can just see it repeating over and over again so I can kind of assess why exactly it's not wrong or not right. I wish it wasn't wrong. If it wasn't wrong, we'd be done here. Oh, I'm still freeing it though. Oops. It almost looks like it's shifted over one whole tile. Do I need to change? Oh, I might need to change the position of the background effects here. Hold on, let me take a look. Background effects dot position minus equals offset. Or equals negative offset. I'll just do the same thing that I've done here. Oh, interesting. Okay. I feel like I'm doing something wonky with this. Oh yeah, all of this is an effort to make the scale point the center of the card. So that's why I'm doing this kind of weird offset stuff. But I think that should do it. I just didn't set the background effects to have a proper offset. So now I think it will work. Let's see. Still doesn't look quite right, but that could be because I'm spawning them in the top left corner of the cells now. So I think I need to put this back like so. We're almost there. We almost got it. Almost there. There we go. Okay, so now that that's working correctly, we can turn one shot back to on, and then we can re-enable this queue free. Yeah, that works. I would say that works pretty well, actually. I'm going to modify some things here, though. Scale. I may also add some more color into here. Change this to constant interpolation. Oh, that's the color initial ramp. I want this to be color ramp. Okay, let's try that. Here we go. Tapeworm, giant finger, carrot. I actually don't know if I like that. Let's go back. I don't think I like the scale change. Let's put this back to 2. Actually, I should probably also change this one. Let's try that. 4.6. Hello, A the Ant. Weirdly enough, I prefer the initial ramp. Yeah, I don't think I like the color, but we can always put it back. Just wanted to see if that worked. Or not. Yeah, I don't know. I could go either way on it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to put this back. Oops. Get rid of this. Copy, paste, remove that. Okay. I don't have my computer right now. The fan broke. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. That's no fun. Having computer issues is not great. So I might try bringing the drag up maybe. Yeah, I think last color from the ramp maybe depends on recipe. That's an interesting idea. Welcome Dorup, by the way, or Dorup. I think I will increase the velocity and then also increase the damping. So let's do 3 and 8. Can also potentially increase the time as well. Or decrease the time, rather. Make it like super violent. I think that damping is still too much. Maybe 3 and 5 is okay. Let's get rid of the damping as friction. That's crazy. I'm just messing around now. Let's see, initial velocity 200, 400. Damping. Oops. That's too much. I can turn down the speed a little bit more. That's going to be too big, though. I need to put this reference rect back. See what I'm doing here. Container sizing, transform size, 18 by 18. Okay. Well, I don't know if that's significantly different than what I have now, but let's see. Sorry, I meant dampening. As a Linux user, I see no problem having computer issues. It's great, yeah. Recently I had a bug where opening Steam ended the session and I had to relog. Oh, that's annoying. I reinstalled Arch 3 separate times in the last 2 months. I love it. I see no problems with it. Turns out it was just a simple parameter in the desktop file. Interesting. That's one of the main reasons why I don't use Linux, is there's always seems to be those tiny things that pop up and need you to fix them, and it's like, I don't really want to deal with that. I had no issue using Unity. I mean, other than the engine being annoying. For me, Unity is dead and buried. Unreal is nice, but I prefer to focus on Godot. Yeah, we'll see. I think, things will shake out in one way or another. I do think that, I think Godot is on the way to just becoming, like, Godot is going to be so non-competitive with the other engines in the sense that, like, well, I guess I should reverse that. The other engines are eventually going to become non-competitive with Godot, because, like, as Godot increases in its feature set, becomes the de facto tool for the people making games, these other engines, their business model isn't going to work. Like, they're not going to be able to charge royalties anymore. Like, especially for more successful, like, indie developers. If I'm an indie developer and I keep making successful games, and Unity keeps wanting these license fees, and I have to pay Steam's 30% cut, and I gotta pay, the cut for my publisher. At some point, you're just gonna say, well, I'm just gonna use Godot because it basically has feature parity with what I'm doing, and I don't have to worry about the royalties or Godot's business model changing overnight. So I think Godot is going to get there eventually, where it will eventually become the de facto industry standard for games. And then maybe tools like Unreal will still exist, but they'll be for maybe they'll be for a more niche purpose, like super graphical fidelity or something. But that's just how I'm expecting things to go, but we'll see. We'll have to see. Have you seen that Unity X Walmart thing? Those CEOs are losing their minds. I have not, no. I am out of the loop on that. Unity works on Linux, but I wanted Windows for Unreal. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I upgraded to a new version. It's the same thing as you're doing right now, having to fix a few things. I use ZIDE2 instead of VS Code. Yeah, I understand the frustration with Microsoft, but I can't use ZIDE because the C# integration is extremely slow. Why is this not... I can't get this to work the way that I want it to work. guess I could turn this velocity down and turn the damping down as well. Oops. I put too many zeros on that. Let's see if that works a little bit nicer. I like Godot the most, but struggle to use it. That's probably because I don't know how to program too well. All right, let's see. That doesn't look good either. What is going on? I think the higher velocity is what I want. The higher velocity is what I want. Increase particle or lifetime randomness ratio. Turn up the damping. I wonder, maybe I'm just using this damping. I liked the damping as friction, but I wonder if I'm just using that wrong. I liked the result that was giving me, but let's try this instead. So if I do like a minimum of 0.5 and a max of 2, maybe a minimum of 1. Okay, let's see how that looks. A new SDK allowing Unity games to integrate with Walmart products into gameplay. Is that real? I feel like that's almost too on the nose for that to be a real story, but I guess I would not be surprised if that was true. Gotta go for it tonight, but I'll see you all around. All right, thanks for joining Ataxic. Always good to see you. And yeah, hope to see you in the next one. It's exactly what I want as a player of Walmart products. All right, thanks for joining, Clippy. I think it's true. Well, I mean, if I'm going to be a little bit charitable, I think we have to keep in mind too that Unity isn't just used to make games. Unity is often used to make like simulations and other kinds of like research projects. So maybe there's a legitimate use case for needing to put Walmart products in there, but that's just if I'm being charitable. Yeah, this is just not, it's not like violent enough. It's not what I want. Do I need to make this lifetime down more? Maybe if I do 0.25. Okay, let's try that. Is true Walmart Immersive Commerce SDK? Oh goodness. Oh, Immersive Commerce, I see. So they probably want to like show 3D models of products or something. It's on the asset store. I think they removed the comment section. Don't see any comments or reviews for that product. Interesting. What a time to be alive. I wonder... Maybe I'll just jack this up even more. We're going to get this eventually. I just keep tweaking numbers and testing it. I mean, it's not that... I mean, maybe I shouldn't spend so much time on it because it's not that impressive of an effect. Just to add a little bit of extra juice to the impact. I wonder if part of the problem is maybe the scale is throwing me off a little bit. What if I just make this 1-1 instead of blowing it up a bunch? I think maybe that will look a little bit nicer, but we'll see. Okay. I actually think that's probably good. What I might do is I might just increase the amount a little bit. But I think that does look a little bit nicer. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's serviceable for sure. Already spent way too much time on this for what it is, but that's all right. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. I don't have a problem with that, so we'll delete that reference rect so it's just not there anymore. Okay. We definitely don't want to keep that. Get rid of that. So add legendary impact particles. Cool. All right. Just stalling so you don't have to redraw frog. I know I have to redraw the frog. Oh no. Oh, what am I going to do about that? What am I going to do about that? Should I just try to redraw it right now? Should I try to make a fool of myself on stream and just try? I actually had an idea for a different approach that I could take to that frog. Which I may give that a shot. The problem is frogs are so hard to draw. I don't know what it is about them, but there's something weird about those creatures. They're just weird. They're just hard to draw. But so I was thinking about turning that frog card into, instead of just being a frog, I could make it like a plague of frogs. And then I could give it a little bit more of like a composition where there's like a frog in the foreground, and then I could have a bunch of frogs like hopping away in the background. So I might take that approach. I still have to figure out how to draw the face of a frog, but might be a little bit easier. Draw it eating some flies. Yeah, I could do that. Okay. Anyway, we're going to do that. So I'm going to need just a quick 3-minute break. And then when I come back, we are going to take a look at this frog. I'll show you all how awful the frog is right now. It's definitely the worst piece of art in the entire game. Maybe ever, in the history of ever. Let's see. Frog. I mean, just like, look at this. Disgusting. Disgusting. So we're going to redraw this and we'll see how it goes. And I'm either going to make a fool of myself again, or we will have something useful. But I'll be right back in 3 minutes. And then when I come back, we'll give this a shot. All right, I'm back. Let's see what we can do with this now. Alrighty, so we'll hide this. So I'm thinking, so what I was saying earlier is I think if I put a frog like up here, that does not look like a frog already. Why is this so hard? I was thinking putting a frog in like the foreground here. Oh gosh, this is already not going well. I'm gonna have to look up a reference image. Okay, let me look up a frog. Frog profile. Okay. Where's a good one? This is a good one. Okay. So we've got the eyes, and then we've got a little rounded mouth with a little other piece underneath it. So maybe I can do that. All right, let's start with the eye here. And then we've got like a rounded mouth. Nope. Yeah, we're getting closer. Okay, so it's almost like they've got like a... It's almost like their eyes are just stuck there, but it's like a nubby kind of smooth curve. This is like a straight line all the way up to the nose here and then down. So... yeah, maybe the eye is just throwing me off here. So if we just do the nubby part. I don't know why. I don't know why I struggled with this so much. The good work needs to be more squared. So I don't know if I'm going to do it eating flies. You going to change the card dimensions? No, I don't think so. I'm going to try to work with the dimensions here. I don't think so, but we're going to see. Okay, that doesn't look terrible. That does not look terrible. So the idea is that we've got a frog out here. Well, I mean, I guess I'll just keep going this way with it. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, this is going to be... This is not going to go well. Nope, this is not going to go well. Why are these creatures so freaking hard to draw? I don't understand. It's going to be even harder, so my initial idea was like... draw little frogs in the background here. Kind of like hopping away. That doesn't look terribly bad, but just get ever smaller frogs hopping away. I got one here, got one there. So I'm just doodling right now. A lot of this is going to have to be done with shading too. But yeah, just these creatures are just... I don't know what it is about them. It's so hard. For me, anyway. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Maybe a frog sitting on a tree on an angle, like a Spider-Man pose. Maybe from front. The idea of a zombie-like swarm of frogs is actually pretty scary, yeah. That's cute. I don't know. This is gonna be very difficult. This is just like... I mean, it doesn't help. I mean, this is just a 1x2 card, so all I have is 18 by 36. So I can't really do like the frog sitting on a tree at an angle. Like, it's just the orientation is not good for that. I guess I could change it. I could change the orientation of the card, but I don't want to because I don't have enough 1x2 cards for the player. And I kind of think it's would be an interesting challenge to figure out how to get a frog to work in this like form. But yeah, I have no idea how to make this work. What would it look like? Let's see. I'm just going to try shading this in and see. See if I can just make it look like a frog, at least. See, that just doesn't look right. Like, the nose shape is way off. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, maybe we got something going on here. Maybe it was better when the eye was over here. Just playing around with adding a mouth here. Yeah, I don't think this is working. I might just ditch the frog entirely. If I can't draw it, I might just delete it from the game and come up with something else. I don't want to do that because it seems like frog would be an obvious choice to have for an alchemy game, but man. This is like the third or fourth time I've tried to redraw this card and it just doesn't work. Maybe a tree with some fireflies in the background. Yeah, that could work. I think it looks like a frog. Yeah, it kind of does. It just doesn't... It looks like an amateurish frog. That's the problem. Yeah. I just feel like there's something still weird about this face. I think larger pupils might give it more scary, mind-controlled look. Yeah, again, it's like I don't have room for that, right? Unless I made the eye bigger. But I can't just make the pupil bigger because then it completely throws off the vibe. Unless you like that with the big ol' pupil there. That kind of works. Looks like a frog adds some green on the top left of the eye. Yeah, this is just, I don't think this is working. That kind of works. Let's see. Okay. I mean, it's better than it was before. Maybe we'll give it a try later. We'll post on Discord if I get anything good. What's the card resolution? The whole canvas is 18 by 36, but the interior of the card is 12 by 30. Those round things that frogs stay in the water, maybe for the top area. Oh, lily pads? I like it like that. Maybe it's just me. Never mind, I'm no artist. I think it looks like a frog. Okay. To me, the 2-pixel pupil looks innocent. The 4-pixel pupil looks like a mind-controlled zombie staring directly at me. Up to you, of course, but I thought the latter fits the vibe more. Yeah, it just looks weird as a square. That's all. I could do this, which is kind of like a compromise between the two. Or that one, which looks a little bit angrier. So somebody said lily pads. I wonder how doable that would be. Let's see if that would be doable at all. I would want to like give the impression of water in here as well, which may be a little bit hard, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't know how to do that either. Oops. I don't know how to do that either. Anyway. Let's move this over. So this might work. Obviously going to want to do some more shading in here. I'm kind of just, I don't know what a lily pad looks like. Let's see. Oh yeah, they've got like the little notch in there. So that's kind of what I was going for here, but maybe it just needs to be bigger. Or I could even put it down here. Yeah, I think that probably looks better. So anyway, I don't need to worry about this shading necessarily right now, but guess it looks fine like that. Anyway, so we've got like a lily pad in here. We're just going to do everything to avoid drawing the frog. We're just going to do everything to avoid drawing the frog itself. Oops. Just bring this more down. Do some cattails. Okay. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I like this eye. Hello, the big shot YouTube. I'm a huge fan. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, how would an alchemist fit a whole frog swamp into their pot? That's a good question. Your old tutorials are amazing. I'm a big fan. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy them. I'm glad they could be helpful. Okay, anyway. I think we're almost there. I mean, we're almost to something that at least looks better than the current version of the frog, but I think shading is going to be important now, up in here especially. And I may actually make some of these like darker, like this one. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just stick to this. Did I mess this up? Let's see. It's probably all right. Okay. I think this is looking all right. Yeah, it's getting there. The colors are making it look a lot better. This one looks a little bit weird though. Whatever, we'll just do it like that. That's fine. We'll do it like that. Now the frog here still looks a little bit weird to me. I don't know. Maybe I should just leave it. I really don't. One thing I don't like about this color palette is I don't like how the only really option to go darker from this blue is this purple. It doesn't seem to go that well together, but that's just my uneducated opinion. Okay, I think it's like basically there. I think I'm gonna remove. Actually, maybe I should do this. Okay, I think that probably looks all right. Are you making a painting? This is for one of the cards in my game. It's a frog card, but rather than draw the entire frog, I'm just doing like a whole environment for him. Because I don't want to draw the whole frog. It's not that I don't want to draw the frog, it's that I'm apparently not capable of drawing a frog. So we're doing the next best thing, which is we're drawing an identifiable part of the frog. And then we're just filling the rest with some background elements. Do I even need this here? I guess that does kind of add a little bit to it. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to update some of the highlighting in here. Or some of the shading, rather. And I might even pull in this purple and fill some of this in here. Yeah, that looks a little bit nicer. And I can give the illusion of there being more back here by just filling in, putting single pixels, I guess. Well, how does that work? Is a frog to be thrown into the boiling pot, the cauldron, yeah. What's the symbolism for the frog? I don't know how to answer that question, Milestone Dev, if you want to clarify. I don't know what you mean by symbolism. Perhaps there's a bit too much going on for such a small area. Maybe. Maybe. Hello, Jackie Daytona. Welcome back. Gotta run for food. Good luck. Thank you. I like this new version better. Are there any other cards that have an environment in it? Yeah, there are. Well, kind of. I mean, I have a pumpkin patch, which is probably the most similar card. Let me see if I can open that up. Oh, I also have a windmill, but I think I need to redo the windmill as well. But yeah, this is what the pumpkin patch looks like. This one actually turned out really well, but it's kind of like an environment, right? Because it's got all these pumpkins. It's not just a singular pumpkin. So we've got the pumpkin patch, and then we also have like a windmill. I wanted to make like cards like that like I wanted to have a little village card and stuff. So it doesn't have to be just singular items. It can be, you know, like environments and whatnot. So I definitely want to do that. That's why I was okay taking this approach. But we could take a look at what this looks like in game, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's certainly better. Like, even if I do end up redrawing it again, this will suffice as a replacement for the current frog, which again look like this. So I think this is a little bit nicer. I was like, what happened to my art? Why did it become so muddy? It's because I didn't hide this guy. So let's try this. Export. Let's see what it looks like in game. Not frig. Frog. The lily pad needs some changes. Looks like something that should not be in a safe game. Has already answered its card. Oh, right, yeah. So there's the frog card. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably end up redoing it at some point in the future, but I think it's better than what it was before. And ultimately, maybe I'll just remove the frog from the game and do something else. Frog looks really good. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's serviceable. It's better than it was. That's all I can really ask for. I guess I'm gonna have to do like a crash course on drawing frogs. I think it's probably, I mean, it's complicated by the fact that this is a very narrow card, so there's not a whole lot of room to draw frog-like details. And yeah, I think frogs are just hard to draw, generally speaking, at least for me. So it's kind of cute, though. I mean, I like how the fact it's like a little scene almost. So we'll see. We might keep it, might redo it, but I think for now it definitely serves its purpose of getting rid of that previous uglier art. So we could call that one good, I think. I think we can call that one good. I didn't save the windmill sprite. I'm gonna discard this. Okay. Redraw frog. This is better than the previous one. For that top-down version to work, I would recommend much longer, exaggerated legs. Like a good 60% of the image should be frogs. Oh, that's it. Oh, should be legs. Yeah. Well, actually, now that you said that, let's just do a quick doodle here. 60% should be legs, huh? So if I like go really tiny with the feet here, and then I go, okay, well that's probably too small. I'm just doodling. I just want to see what it looks like if I do that. Okay. Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but the legs are a little thick, I think. But, I mean, that already does look better. If I wanted to use the same composition as before, that definitely already looks better. I've got some kind of asymmetry here. Oh, I guess I just drew it asymmetrical. Well, whatever. Yeah. By the way, are you doing this full-time? Yeah, I am. Alchemortis is my full-time effort, and I'm going to be trying to sell as many copies of that as possible, and if I can't, then I will go back to being a software engineer. Love all the little satisfying effects and animations. Def what a good game needs. Thank you, yeah. At least the shape will be recognizable quickly. Yeah, that's a frog, all right. Okay, well, yeah, maybe I'll take another stab at the frog using the 60% legs version. I already think, yeah, that's probably much better. Yeah. Yeah, that shape is just much better. So I may actually take a stab at using that instead of this. So yeah, I'm going to save this, make sure that and maybe I'll work on that a little bit and see how I can make that work. The right leg is 1 pixel too far to the left. There we go. I got this weird... I might want to make it over to the left a little bit so I can have like this split up the middle here. But maybe that's not how frogs are supposed to look when they're stretched out like that. Anyway. Anyway. Thank you, Milestone Dev, by the way. Appreciate that. Love the new Godot theme. Yeah, the new Godot theme is great. Top-down version reminds me of dissection. Maybe a dissected frog on a table with pins in its hands and feet could work. Yeah, that is something that I was thinking about when I first was drawing it. I think it just comes down to the size constraints to, like, how do I make all of that readable? I think it's possible. I just need to think about that some more. Would you ever start any company with a team if you could? I don't know. One step at a time. We'll see if I can make money for myself first. And then I don't know if it's, are there games that I would like to make that would be easier to make with a team of people? Yes, absolutely. But, yeah, I don't know if I would, I don't know if that's something that I'm like actively working towards, if that makes sense. Okay, anyway, it is dinner time for me, so I'm going to go ahead and eat dinner. But I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your suggestions, for helping me through all the issues that I'm having. Again, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. And thank you to those who have already done that. Would very much appreciate if you would do that. Helps me out a lot. There will be a playtest coming out in 5 days, but that will be for Patreon members only for 1 week. And then anyone who wants to try the playtest will be able to try it after the 1 week of Patreon early access. So if you want to get the first access to the playtest, consider subscribing at Patreon. There's also a bunch of other nice perks, like if you subscribe at the top tier, that's like a pre-purchase of Alchemortis, so I'll send you a Steam key for the full game when it releases, so you don't need to purchase it on Steam after that. And I will put your name in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So that's if you subscribe to the top tier for at least 1 month. But there's no FOMO here. I don't want you to have to pay to access anything except for, obviously the full version of the game. But the playtests are always going to be available to everyone. You'll just have to wait until the Patreon early access period is over. But anyway, all that stuff out of the way. Everything's in the description below, so thanks again. Very much appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you all have a great evening or morning or wherever you are. And I'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there, and bye-bye for now.